Welcome to the club.
All right, let's jump right into a really incredible section of Tolstoy's War and Peace. We're going to be looking at two men who are facing two very, very different kinds of debt. For one, it's a gambling debt, a debt of honor that's about to bring his family to its knees. For the other, it's a spiritual debt, a feeling of being so completely lost that his life feels meaningless. We're going to follow their parallel journeys to the brink and see what it takes to find a way back. So where do we start? Well, picture this. It's Christmas time at the Rostov home, and Tolstoy describes the place as having this incredible atmosphere of love. It's just full of music, laughter, and youthful energy. It's all built on this one beautiful idea you see here. Grab onto happiness, grab onto love, because that's the only thing that's truly real. It's a lovely philosophy for sure, but it's about to get tested in the most brutal way. And the first person to face that test? That would be the young, handsome officer, Nikolai Rostov. He's just come home from the army. His family absolutely adores him. On the surface, he's living a perfect life. But underneath all that holiday cheer, something's about to go very, very wrong. And here's where things really start to get complicated. Nikolai's friend, a pretty intense and dangerous guy named Dolokhov, proposes to Sonia, who is Nikolai's cousin. Now, for Sonia, who's an orphan with no money, this is a fantastic offer, but she turns him down flat. Why? Because she's been in love with her cousin Nikolai her whole life. And just like that, her act of loyalty puts Nikolai in an impossible position, one he is completely unprepared to handle. So what does Nikolai do? Well, he has this really painful, kinda awkward conversation with Sonia. He tells her he loves her, but then immediately starts walking it back. He says he's too young, his mother wouldn't approve. He basically can't bring himself to defy his family or make a real commitment. Instead, he tells her she should maybe reconsider Dolokhov. It is just a moment of devastating weakness, and it leaves Sonia heartbroken, but, still totally firm in her love for him. And you just know that this private heartbreak is about to have some very public and very, very expensive consequences. The scene shifts now from that warm, loving Rostov home to a cold, tense farewell party, where a very different kind of debt is about to be settled. So Dolokhov, who is absolutely steaming after Sonia's rejection, invites Nikolai and some other friends to the English hotel. The cover story is that it's a farewell party before they all head back to the army. But the real event of the night, it's the card game. And this is not going to be a friendly game among pals. No way. This is a trap. Nikolai is a little hesitant at first, but Dolokhov knows exactly which buttons to push. He gives Nikolai this cold, angry look, the same one he had after Sonia rejected him, and basically challenges his courage with this one question. He's not just asking him to play cards, he's turning this into a duel, a test of honor that Nikolai feels he can't back down from without looking like a coward. So the game starts, and for Nikolai, it is an absolute disaster from the get-go. Almost immediately, he's down 800 rubles. Now, that's a lot, but it's still, manageable. But this is just the first tug pulling him into the whirlpool. And he's so caught up in this duel of honor that he can't see the danger he's in. As the losses just keep piling up, Nikolai's mind starts to drift. He starts thinking about his family, about talking with Sonia, singing with his sister Natasha, all the simple, warm happiness that he just left behind. And that world now feels a million miles away. Like a paradise, he's gambling away with every single card that's turned, along with the promise he made his father not to lose any more money. And this is the final staggering number, 43,000 rubles, an absolutely catastrophic amount of money that would literally ruin his family. But here's the thing. This number isn't random. Dolokhov stops the game at exactly this figure. Why? Because 43 is the sum of his age and Sonia's age. This was never just a game of cards. It was cold, calculated, and deeply personal revenge. When Nikolai finally gets home and has to confess everything to his father, he is just completely broken. Later that night, he's listening to his sister Natasha sing, and he has this terrifying thought. What is honor? What are promises or debts compared to this raw, beautiful moment of feeling? In his despair, he starts to think maybe all of morality is just nonsense, that the only thing that's real is intense feeling, whether it's good or bad. And just as Nikolai's external world completely collapses, Tolstoy does this incredible thing. He masterfully pivots to another character whose internal world is in a total freefall, the wealthy and deeply troubled Pierre Bezukhov.
We find Pierre all alone at this remote, dreary post station, just waiting for horses. He recently fought a duel with that same guy, Dolokhov, over his wife's honor, and now he's separated from her. This violent, shocking event has just completely shattered his reality, and it sent him spiraling into this profound existential crisis.
He's just paralyzed by these huge fundamental questions. I mean, he just tried to kill a man. His entire life is upside down. The moral compass he thought he had, it's just gone. He's questioning the very meaning of right and wrong. And that just leads him deeper, you know? If he can't even tell good from bad, then what's the point of his own life? Who is he, really? He feels like his whole existence, his incredible wealth, his fancy titles, has all been completely and utterly meaningless. And finally, he gets to the biggest question of all. He looks out at the chaos of the world, at war and betrayal and suffering, and he can't see any sign of a god or a plan or any governing power at all. He just feels totally adrift in a random, senseless universe. And that thought is absolutely terrifying to him. So it's right then, at his absolute lowest point, when he feels completely lost, that a stranger walks into the room. And this man doesn't just see a wretch count. He seems to look directly into Pierre's tormented soul. The man is old, but he's got these incredibly sharp eyes, and he's wearing this peculiar ring with a skull on it, the symbol of the Freemasons. He walks right up to Pierre and confronts him, saying he knows exactly why Pierre is so unhappy. The Freemason Osip Alexievich gives him his diagnosis. He says Pierre is miserable because he's lost his faith in God. He explains that Pierre has been trying to figure everything out with just his intellect, with pure logic, but that's not where the answers are. True wisdom, he says, can only be found by looking inward and trying to purify your own heart and your own life. And for the first time in what feels like forever, Pierre feels a tiny spark of hope. This strange encounter has given him a direction, a new path to follow. He immediately travels to St. Petersburg to find the Masonic order and take his first real step toward a new life. So he goes through this initiation ceremony, and it is bizarre, but also deeply moving. It's filled with all these strange symbols. He's blindfolded, there's a human skull, swords are pointed at his chest, and it's all designed to break down his old self and commit him to a whole new set of principles, all focused on virtue and self-improvement. Pierre is told the three main goals of the order. The first two are kind of mysterious, about secret knowledge and self-purification. But it's that third goal that really grabs him. The idea that by making himself a better person, he can actually combat the evil in the world and help mankind. For the first time, he feels like he has a real purpose. So at the end of all this, you've got these two guys on completely opposite tracks. Nikolai, having paid his monetary debt, is emotionally and financially shattered. He's basically running away back to the army, his future looking incredibly bleak. But Pierre, who has confronted his spiritual debt, he feels reborn. He's heading off to his estates, full of this new sense of purpose and a real plan to do some good in the world. And this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about, right? Tolstoy gives us two men who are both facing ruin. One is brought down by a very concrete debt of money and honor, the other by a much more internal debt of meaning and faith. It really forces us to ask, which debt is actually harder to repay? And what does it truly cost to find redemption?